大家晚上好. A very good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening at our Yishun rally. I thought I spend this evening sharing with you what my dreams are for Yishun, what my dreams are for Singapore, and I think very importantly, what my values are and what my beliefs are. About a year ago, my mother was asked by the media what our family values are. How did she bring me up when I was a kid? She replied that our family had 3 values. It was honesty, integrity, and compassion. Indeed, that was what they brought me up with. That's what they taught me. But most importantly, they didn't just teach me, they showed me. And my parents were my biggest role model. I learned the most from not what they teach, but what they showed me, and what they showed me by example. But they didn't just teach me 3 values of honesty, integrity, and compassion. They taught me a lot more. My dad taught me a lot more than that. It is always painful to talk about my dad because he's passed on. And I miss him a lot. But I always share that it is only through him and only through stories of him that you understand why I am the person I am today. My dad spent his last few days in the hospital. And in his last few days, he taught perhaps the most important lessons of the last 37 years of my life. Perhaps it was a summary of all the lessons that he taught me. But the nurses always told us that my dad was still giving feedback, even in his last few breaths. He not just gave feedback, but he numbered the feedback. Somehow he still had the mental capacity to tell the nurse, this is your first, this is the second, this is the third feedback. Feedback so that things can get better. But Daddy knew that the feedback that he gave would never benefit him because he was on his way out. But that was Daddy. He gave the feedback so that others would benefit. He always taught me to speak my mind, to speak up for others, and to always give more than to receive. My daddy's final wish also was to pass on at home. And when we knew that the time was up, we started to process the terminal discharge. When we were signing the documents, I remember the nurses passed me his MC. And I was surprised because why would you give an MC for my dad who was about to pass on? I was bewildered. And I think the nurses could see that I was shocked. But the nurses told me that it was my dad's wishes that he be given an MC for the time he was away from work. And that perhaps was his last lesson to me. Daddy was a shining example of what strong work ethic meant. A shining example of what loyalty meant. He worked at his company for 42 years and was employed till his last breath. But honesty, integrity, and compassion aren't just my values. They're not just my family's values, but they're the values of the PAP. And it's for that reason, it's why I joined the party. But we don't just talk about honesty and integrity at the PAP, we practice it wholeheartedly. We not just talk about compassion, but we enshrine it in our constitution when we talk about compassionate meritocracy. So tonight, I ask for your vote. A vote for a party who will always have integrity, who will always be compassionate. I ask for your vote for a party who have people who, like my daddy, will always speak up for you, who will have strong work ethics, and who will always be loyal to Singapore. I also personally ask for your vote so that I have an opportunity to do more for Yishun, to do more for Singapore, and to do more in more diverse ways. I ask for your vote, like Henry, so that I can be your voice in Parliament, to not just listen to you with my ears and my heart, but to speak up for you in Parliament. And I will speak up about issues that I care about. Animal welfare, volunteerism, parenthood. I will speak up and champion those issues, but more importantly, I will speak up and champion issues that residents of Yishun care about. I will ensure that your concerns are heard in Parliament. But the discussions shouldn't be limited to just Parliament. I think it's crucial that we engage you, we get your concerns, your feedback, and make sure that they're incorporated into the bills before we even discuss them in Parliament. And I think that is crucial. Many of you know me as an activist from the advocacy community for the last 14 years. I've devoted almost my entire adult life towards speaking up, towards making a difference, towards serving the community because I feel it is important. But I'm not here today to talk the talk. I'm here today to walk the talk with you. And walk the talk that I've done now for the last 14 years. I started my charity Acres when I was an undergraduate in NUS. Many people told me that I would fail. I was just a small boy with a big dream, with no resources, no support, no money. But I fought passionately to make it succeed. I fought with every last breath to make sure that we would succeed. But along the way, I failed. I failed many times. But I took each failure as an important lesson I had to learn from. And I fought each failure passionately to overcome it. And I never gave up. Giving up was never part of my DNA. And today we have a very passionate team at Acres who come to work every day to make a difference. And I'm privileged now to be given an opportunity to serve the residents of Yishun. I hope you give me an opportunity now to build a community. I will fight passionately, never give up, to ensure that Yishun becomes an iconic hub of the North. We will build and we will continue building more amenities to ensure that we become an even more amazing and even more vibrant town. But that's the hardware of the town. I also want to focus on the hardware, which I feel is equally important. I want to make sure we develop community projects with the community, run by the community and for the community. I want to make sure that Yishun is not just a place you live in, a place where you work in, but a place that you can truly call your home, and a place where all your friends live in. I want to make sure that we strengthen our community spirit, the Singapore spirit. We celebrated SG50 last month. It's been 50 amazing years for Singapore. And as we move to the next 50 years, I hope we not just remember the values that our pioneer built Singapore with, but we ensure that we strengthen these values. We make it even better as we move towards SG100. And so tonight, I ask for your vote. I ask for your vote for honesty, for integrity, for compassion. I ask for your vote for a Yishun team who will always speak up for you, who will always be on your side. I ask for your vote so that we have an opportunity to continue working with you, for you, and for Singapore. Thank you, everyone.